Hey, everybody, this is Tim Gillette, and we are live today with another Tim Gillette Show. I'm Tim Gillette, your host, and yes, I put on a show called The Tim Gillette Show, but it is nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with who our guest is that day. Our guest today is going to be Casey Hasten, and I'll bring her up here in a minute. But if you would do me a favor, all right, real quick, if you're just now tuning in, go to timgilletteshow.com and subscribe to our Apple podcast, and as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/Tim Gillette. Please subscribe to them so you can get all of these in their full length and see some of the old ones we got out there. So today's guest, Casey Hasten, is someone that I met through Success North Dallas. All right. I actually don't have one of these formidable things to read out, but I can tell you something. When you meet people at a networking function who stand out in a room, that's Casey Hasten. Casey was someone, when I came to Success North Dallas for the first time, was always up there to say, hey, how can I help? Hey, who can I connect you to? Hey, I want to connect you to, and then brings the person over and introduces them to me. That is a connector, and that who is Casey is. And I think it's also fitting that her podcast is called We Are VIP. I mean, come on. This girl is the VIP, if you ask me. So anyway, let me bring her up here today. Casey Hastings, how are you doing?
I am so great, man. I love that intro. I was like, is that me? Am I the guest today? You know.
Hold on. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Is there somebody else in here? Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah. So, Casey, how are you? I mean, like we see each other once a month live. Again, we get to see each other live.
I know. I'm so excited. Here, I'm going to do. This is my applause for video.
Yeah. Yep. I was on someplace that they called him something. They called him like high hands or something like that. I was on a Ryan Dice event, and where they were calling something like, sparkle hands or something. I'm like,
oh yeah. There's spirit hands.
Huh? Spirit hands. That's it. Yeah. So I guess you've been to a Ryan Dice thing too.
No, it's actually a cheerleading term. Sorry.
Okay, now I know Ryan's interest in cheerleading. Anyway. Wow. So anyway, Casey, first of all, I want you to tell people a little bit like about you. All right. I know I met you, but I don't fully know your entire story. So give us some little tidbits of who Casey is and why we get to know her.
Well, I will tell you who Casey is today is not who Casey was a year ago, 3 years ago, and especially not 8 years ago, because 8 years ago, I don't know if you're going to be able to believe this or not, Tim. So, recruiting, what I do today, I'm the director of recruiting with VIP, was not my first career. Do you want to guess what it was?
Cheerleading?
No, but I'm going to give you some spirit hands on that one. Not cheerleading.
We do have fun on this show. I'm just saying.
I love it. It's so relaxed. Yeah. No, I was an accountant.
I couldn't count on that one. Anyway.
Yeah. So when I switched, and I really, it's not that I hated my life. I wasn't passionate about it. I was okay at it. I was good at it. I rose in the ranks in it, but it wasn't something that brought me joy every day. It was something I did for a paycheck. Right. Mm-hmm. And when I switched to recruiting, oh my God, my whole world changed. Because it was something that I got to help people, which is a passion of mine. And I was just passionate about helping people find that right next role, right? And so fast forward a little bit later, I'm loving what I'm doing. I found my passion. I'm helping people, right? Still not enough. Uh-huh. And so I moved over to VIP about 2.5 years ago. And let me tell you something, working for a company that is so forward thinking and supports all your harebrained ideas is amazing. And it has, over the last 2.5 years, has really helped me grow even more because, and growth is what it's all about, right? If we're not growing, we're dying. And so coming to VIP, the first harebrained thing that I had was like, I want to do my own personal brand. I'm going to support you. So if you look at my website, everything about my website points back to VIP. Okay. So that was the first harebrained idea. Then I decided I wanted to do a podcast. And they were like, well, do it for us. We'll pay for it. And I went, okay, and so
What
we've
a
been,
bargain. Yeah.
yeah. So we've been doing that for almost a year and a half, and it's been amazing. I've got to meet so many amazing people. And then, because I didn't have enough to do, right? I decided to go to coaching school and just finished that. And I'm awaiting my certification on it. Should have that any day now. And I know you had one of my fellow IPEC students on here, Karen Gray. I was
Yes, I
listening
had
to her
Karen on here.
episode.
Yes, just recently. Yes.
Yeah. And update, she's received her certification since your show. So
Cool. Cool.
good for her. More spirit heads. But
Yeah.
anyway, so the reason I wanted to share that part is because in Q1, again, company being forward thinking, I'm launching a whole new vertical for VIP on executive leadership coaching.
Okay. Okay. So interesting that you've gone the route you have gone.
Yeah.
Can we go back to Casey as a little girl? All right. Was there some mentor or something in Casey's life that said, hey, when you grow up, Casey, you need to be?
No, absolutely not. In fact, going into my accounting career, that was very much encouraged by my parents. Although I will tell you this, this will shock you. Okay. I think my dad gave me the courage and the okay to do whatever I thought that I might want to do. Because when I was younger, there were 3 of us girls, right? So no boys. Poor dad. He went gray very, very early in life. And I was the oldest. And come to find out, I was a natural at riding dirt bikes. And so for my entire middle school and high school career, I raced dirt bikes competitively and was second in the state of Texas. So I think having that confidence, because I played with the boys, right? That I think having that confidence goes a long ways to there was never any limits put on me. So I think that's what helped, not necessarily a mentor, but just no limits.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Cool. It's funny. I've not had her on my show, but I met a couple years ago and I was on a show of hers. And that is Nikki Zach, who is like the fastest woman on 2 wheels. She drives she is a, what do they call it? Like a drag racing motorcycle.
Yes.
Yeah. She from Australia and stuff like that. I helped her do some publicity stuff a couple years ago, and I've got to get her on the show. I'm just saying she was just awesome, but when I see chicks who are just going, hey man, I'm into this stuff, I'm going to go do it. I'm like, hey, I love it. Go be you, go do you. And that is just awesome. So, I'm guessing the tomboyish thing, has it carried through, or you kind of keep that tamped down?
No, I still like to go out and, recently we rented some razors and did the Alpine Loop in Colorado, which I don't know if you've ever done that, but that's pretty scary. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. And hiking and camping and all that kind of stuff. I kind of think that's a little boyish.
Just a little. What can I say? So, hey, Larry's in love with me today.
Larry, I'm jealous.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah. Okay. So we were talking just before this, just before we came live today about Larry and talking about the connections we have in Dallas. And how long, Casey, have you been in the Dallas area? Have you grown up here, or did you grow up somewhere else and move here?
I moved here for a job so that I could pursue my passion. So I've been here about 6 years total, actually.
6 years. And what was it? What was the job that you came here for 6 years ago?
So I was actually still living in North Texas when I first started working in recruiting, and I was commuting. Yeah. And I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And I was commuting like an hour and a half each way. It was killing me. But I wanted to make sure this whole recruiting thing was going to work, right? Because that's a major career, from accounting to recruiting. And so, so after I was pretty sure that I was going to make it as a recruiter, we decided that we would go ahead and sell our place in almost Oklahoma and move to the Dallas area. So that's allowed me to really expand my network, because I can make those 7 o'clock meetings with Success North Dallas.
Yeah, like we have tomorrow morning. Yeah, 7 a.m., which I never get up at 7 a.m. Anyway. Yeah.
I know. And I've got to be there at 6:30.
Yeah. So I'll be there with you at 6:30. I'll bring you a coffee.
And a donut.
Well, I always like to ask that question about, what got you to come here? Because usually, all right, Casey, now I'm not saying you're this type of girl, but how many girls I've seen that, I can ask the question, So when did you get here, and are you still together with him?
Yes, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
how many times have you seen, and tell me the truth, in the Dallas area even, is girls moving here for with the guy they met from college, and then 8 years later, they're still here. They broke up with the guy who's long gone, but they have a business here now.
Yeah. Well, lucky them. They got here, right?
Yeah.
Whatever brought them here. So the interesting thing is that, yes, my significant other, I call him my forever man. So we've been together for a while, but we both grew up in North Texas, where Larry's from, Larry Roberts.
Yeah.
And so Larry and my boyfriend actually went to high school together. And that's how we met.
Wait a minute. Larry went to high school? I'm sorry.
I know. It's a well-kept secret, but he didn't.
Did they push him out? I mean, come on. That guy didn't get an education.
It was a private school at that, a private Christian school. Did you know that?
I know, Larry. I was just like, I'm picking on him now because I know he's listening. But anyway. So, it's interesting that, we see that. But do you see that, though, as, women in the Dallas area are really a part of success in the Dallas area? I mean, there's so many women I see who are success stories. I mean, first of all, Mary Kate Ash was from here, all right. One of the foundational things in North Dallas. But do you see it? Like, not Mary Kate's, but I mean, everywhere. There's success stories like that.
I absolutely do. I belong to a local women's group that was put together by my very dear friend that happens to be a city councilwoman. I won't say for who right now, just because I don't want to. I'll probably say something wrong and get her fired. I don't even know if that's possible, but I might. So, but in that group, I mean, it's all women, and we have a mayor, lawyers. We have all kinds of super successful women, and you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? I want to surround myself with them.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I've always had that philosophy of trying to surround myself with the people I want to be, not the people who I am. And when I was younger, it kind of bit me in the ass a little bit when I was younger, because I always was hanging around with older people, and it had nothing to do with I just wanted to be older. It had to do with the fact that exactly what you said. I wanted to hang around with the people I wanted to be, not the people I was. All right. And that has become a huge staple in my success throughout my years, is I'm always looking for the next level, and who do I hang out with on the next level? Have you been that way? And has that caused you to then change friendships quite a bit?
I have been that way, and not as much recently changing the friendships, because I finally learned that lesson and just really kind of, I know it's a very cliche thing, but up-leveled my tribe. Mm-hmm. And so, but since I have done that, the world has opened up. My potential has opened up, and the ability for me to help serve others has opened up, because those people are like mentors to you, right? Mm-hmm. And they teach you how to do things like networking, like, just making those connections. I was taught by one of the best on making connections, and I'm going to tell you, it's kind of my superpower.
I got to agree with that. I watched, you introduced me to last networking function. You introduced me to 5 people.
Really? That many?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I didn't even
I don't know. When I knew that you were going to be on the podcast, I started counting, and I was like, I'm going to count this and see. And I was shocked. And let's be honest. You and I haven't had a one-on-one sit down. I was trying to do this first, but we don't. But we know what each other does. All right. And you do that. You walk around the room and introduce you. And I try to introduce people to you too, because I think you're one of the influencers in our North Dallas area. So I got to respect you for that. You're always introducing people to people who belong together. So
it's so much fun for me. And just to go a little bit further, I know you and I haven't sat down and talked. Yeah. We've walked and talked, and we, stood and talked and stuff like that. But there's something when you're a networker, if there's value with a person, and that you want to continue talking to them and continue when I see you tomorrow, do you not think when we see each other that I am genuinely excited to see you?
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, even in COVID, I'm pretty sure you're going to run up and give me a hug. So
I did last time. So.
But we both know we're safely doing it, for those of you who are offended. I'm just saying, yeah. You're both very, very safe and respectful people. Anyway. Well, it's interesting, networking, connections. All right. You're a recruiter. All right. The people skills. I got to ask, Casey, the people skills, was this something you've been developing since you were younger, or is it something you had to learn?
I would say, and people aren't going to like this, but I really think that it's something that is innate to me that I just do naturally because I don't ever meet a stranger.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, I want you to be my new best friend. And I don't say that flippantly. I really mean that. I'm very accessible to the people that I've met, regardless of how long we've talked. And so I just think that I just care. And I just think that comes through. I think when you talk about people skills, that's it. I care.
Yeah. Casey, I got to say, I like that. All right. Because it is out there that, that you've got to innately put into you. And I kind of figured that was the question, but your clients, all right. Do your clients come to you and go, hey, Casey, can you help me get that and become caring?
No, not necessarily, but I'm hoping that because they've not seen me in that coaching role, right? So when I say clients, let's get some definitions here. My clients are my companies that hire me to go find talent for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My candidates are my candidates that I find for my clients. Okay. So my clients typically will come to me and say, hey, Casey, I need this, and when they say this, they're talking about a profile of a candidate that they're looking for. Like, for example, I just had a client call me earlier today. They're looking for a senior tax associate. So if any of you out there are senior tax associates, call me. It's a great company. So shameless plug. But they don't necessarily, but here's what they do. They talk about, like, I build that relationship with them and they talk about, like, Casey, this is happening on the team. So I just kind of want you to make the candidates aware of it before they come in and make sure that they are, they know that the team is not dysfunctional, but we've got this little issue going on. And so that language is what encouraged me to go to coaching school. So I am hoping in the future that conversation will come up more naturally as we start engaging with our clients on a coaching level instead of just a contingency level for talent acquisition.
Casey, I see it all the time in the coaching realm. Now, I'm technically a coach, but I don't label myself as that. And that is basically, I believe in mentoring people. And I meant like to mentor people in like the idea of, I've been there, I've done that, I'm still doing it. So I'm always learning new skills to be able to transfer. Well, in your case, all right, you are doing it. I mean, let's face it. You just said that, all right. I mean, you're making connections for a client you just talked to. You're still trying to make connections for that client. How often do you find that by the time the client comes to you, you go, I've got 3 people I can introduce you to?
Oh, I hope that that's the case all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my goal. That's kind of what separates a good recruiter from, either a new recruiter or someone who's just kind of do it to pass the time and just get a paycheck, right? A good recruiter is going to be able to say, when their client calls, I know exactly who you need to look at.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. A good recruiter is not going to send those clients 10 resumes, 10 different candidates. They're going to say, I'm going to send you my top 3 because I know these are the ones you're going to want to hire. You're going to have a hard time making a decision.
I like that. I mean, I wish I was that good with, but that's good. But you're right. I mean, if I'm going to hire you to recruit people for me, I want that. I want the top. I don't want to play number games. I want the top.
I mean, that's why you hire a recruiter, because if you want to play a numbers game, go put an ad out on LinkedIn and then you sort through all those people. That's what you engage me for. So you don't have to take the time to sort through all those resumes and sort through those bad interviews, because I've already done it for you.
So, I mean, so every time you meet somebody, so you and I, we're going to meet tomorrow morning. We're going to be at Success North Dallas with Bill Wallace, a great friend of the show. Tomorrow morning, when we meet people, you in your mind are already, you've got the boxes in your mind to check off. Okay, hey, man, when I meet this guy, who is he? What is he looking for? All right. So you're already eyeing him up, how I can help him, or her, how I can help them.
Yeah.
All right. And you've got it in your mind. And then someone calls you with that information. You've automatically put it in there and you can go, matter of fact, I met somebody at Bill Wallace's Success North Dallas just last week. Let me introduce you to him.
Yeah. I rarely have a conversation with a new person where I don't have at least 2 connections for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So repeat that. I want people to understand that concept right there.
I rarely have a conversation, an initial conversation with someone that I don't have at least two connections for them to help further it. Because I may not be the person they need to talk to, but I might know the person they need to talk to. And so I'm always introducing people to each other, and I continue to do that. Just because I make those initial connections doesn't mean I forget about you, right? Gosh, there are so many people that I just continually, and here's the thing you need to know about me though. If you want me to start making connections, I don't ask permission. If I think it's a good connection, I just make it. So you've been warned.
Have you ever had that come back to bite you in the ass? Okay. So
Not yet.
You're good at reading. Yeah, you meet me. You're good at reading. Okay, maybe this guy's good people. You're good at reading that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I like to think I am. I've never had anybody, reach out to me and say, Casey, would you please quit introducing people to me? Yeah. Usually it's like, oh my God, that was an amazing introduction. Thank you.
Or the idea of introducing someone and connecting someone and then finding out, oh my God, that guy's a scumball. Why did I introduce him to that person?
Yeah. No, I haven't had that happen.
Yeah.
Have you?
I've had it happen, but let's face it. I mean, it happens in the real world, but like we love the 99% chance it don't. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Marla Horsham, all right, great idea. Casey, I need to meet up with you soon. Marla, the greatest place you can meet her is tomorrow morning. Her and I are going to be at an event here in Dallas called Success North Dallas. Go look it up. You could be either one of our guests, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, I did get a notice from Bill, though, saying that you have to register.
Yes, you have to register because of COVID. We have to register. So, yeah. So, but, if this one isn't, I will put you in touch with. I have both you on speed dial.
Definitely put us in touch with each other.
Yep. And that's connection. So
there you go.
Yeah. I find tons of things interesting about you, Casey. I want to go to the personal side of your life, and if you don't mind.
Sure.
Let's talk about, because you're with a life partner for years now. All right. Kids, things like that. What is it that the two of you go, you know what, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're about in life, aside from business.
Oh, I know exactly. This is what we're working towards right now. So do you know what a camp host is?
A what?
A camp host?
No, tell me.
So a camp host is usually someone who is full-time in like a fifth wheel or a class A, motorhome type thing. Steve Rutherford, my forever man, and I love to take our camper to different places each summer, usually cooler in the summer, and just travel around. And so our goal eventually is to not have a home, not have anything tying us down, and just drag, we call it tumbleweed, our little tumbleweed around wherever we want to go. And we'll set up and we'll be camp hosts for a while, which means we'll sit there. Basically, we get free camping grounds, but we have to work for it, which is fine because we want to keep working, but we just want to be able to take our tumbleweed and travel.
It's funny you mentioned that, because now I hear that, and I heard that term, but I didn't hear that it labeled as that. I heard it labeled as work camper.
Oh.
Okay, so WORKAMPER, work camper. And I met the founder of Work Camper, and he's actually got the name trademarked. Oh, wow. Doing exactly that.
Love it.
He has a whole community. He helps do that. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
I'm going to connect you with him.
Okay.
While we're in the connection game, I'm going to connect you with people I know.
Awesome.
We met him a couple of years ago at an RV show, I think, and became connected to him. I'm not sure we're friends on Facebook. And to tell you the truth, I don't know. But I joined his newsletter. It's like $30 a month or whatever. And does exactly that. Helps people connect, doing that very same thing. He's been doing it since the 70s or 80s, I think.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that's our dream. We want to. And so right now I'm really trying to position myself. Don't listen, VIP. They know it. I'm really trying to position myself so that I can work 100% remotely from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And I think COVID's really shown us that we can do that. And if I weren't recording every week, our company podcast, I would probably be already doing that.
Yeah. So I actually clicked over to their website where Steve Anderson was the guy, I guess, who started that work camper thing. And he's up there. So it is. I would love to actually live on the road. I'm actually, through this whole COVID thing, I wanted to buy like a mountain piece of property in like Colorado and build what do they call them? The off-grid house.
Yeah. That's where we spent our summer, was in Colorado.
Yeah. That's what I want to do. I want an off-grid place to where I can leave the world and I'm around nature all day long. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You sound like Steve for sure.
Yeah, not connected to the world, but I still need to be connected to the world because everything I do is on the internet. So
exactly.
So through the years, I mean, you and him have actually gone out. The camper is a huge thing for you guys. What are some other fun things you guys do while you're here in town?
So this will not surprise you. We ride motorcycles.
Harleys, right?
Harleys, yeah. Dirt bike days are over. I discovered I was mortal. And that when you crashed, it really hurts.
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't hurt when I was a kid, but now I'm like,
I hate to tell you this, but when you crash on the street bikes, it really hurts too.
Yeah, but you're not doing jumps.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually crashed mine. So yeah. Not fun.
Yeah.
Happens.
So we do that. Then we also, we both are avid cyclists, like endurance cyclists. So we'll do that. But I'll tell you, my real passion, I mean, if you could do something 24/7, what would it be? And I'd be read. Okay. I love to read.
So have you written a book?
I'm working on one, actually. But I think the whole topic is going to change.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I've got a couple of ideas in my head.
Casey, the first book that I started writing, which ended up being, I actually don't have it up right now. I took it down to show. Oh, here it is. I took it down to show Mastermind as part of which turned out to be this book in 2012. I started with the idea in 2004 when I met Zig Ziglar, and he basically said, give yourself a working title and just start working on it. By the time you finish the working title you started with, you're going to find it's long gone.
Yeah.
It got you working on it. I love that about Zig. He actually taught me that. So
I love Zig Ziglar's message. I have been a huge fan of his. I won't tell you how long, but a long time.
Well, I was very fortunate. God bless my situation that I ran into Zig and I used to wash his car. And I would not be a speaker today if it wasn't for Zig Ziglar, because basically he told me, Tim, you belong in this field. I didn't believe him, but he told me that. And his message, it wasn't until he was almost ready to leave this earth that I finally went, the greatest motivational speaker of all time, I might want to listen to him.
Exactly. He was right too.
So anyway, how about you? Have you had a person like that in your life? Like I had Zig.
Mm-hmm. I've had several actually, but probably the one that really got me kickstarted on my most recent growth pattern was a gentleman by the name of Jerry Acuff, and he is one of the top 3 salesmen in the world. Mm-hmm. And he is absolutely amazing. And one of the things that I really love about him, he's written several books, but he was always there. Like if I picked up the phone right now and said, "Say hi, Jerry," he would answer and say hi to you guys.
Cool.
He makes himself that accessible. And even though he's running a big company and he always has great advice. Like when I wanted to go to coaching school, I called Jerry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Absolutely, you have to do this. And then when you get done, come talk to me. I'm going to make you famous." I was like, okay. Cool. It doesn't hurt to have friends like that at all.
No, I mean, I personally have a mentor, which I was on a master call with him earlier this morning. As my mentor is Craig Duswalt, who I introduced to you at an event. Craig has been my mentor for 8 years, and I wouldn't be where I am today without Craig. And I always owe a lot to him. That is a great thing to find, that you have somebody like that in your life. All right. Are you being that to someone else?
I am.
Tell us about a couple people you're doing that with right now.
I'll tell you about one, and it's kind of an interesting story, and I won't tell you any names, but it was someone that I hired to be on my team, mm-hmm. and it ended badly. It ended so badly. Not because I necessarily made a bad hire, but it was a bad culture fit, mm-hmm. and it really just fell apart very quickly. And so this person left, and when they left, they told me that they were getting out of recruiting. And next thing I know, they're with another recruiting agency. And I'm like, oh. And I took them from green, never recruiting before, and taught them everything they knew, crushing it. So not too long ago, it was after COVID, actually, this person called me and said, are you doing lunches yet? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, can we go to lunch? I really want to talk to you. And I'm like, interesting, of course. I don't hold grudges, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mostly. um, but so we went to lunch, and he apologized for leaving that way, because he says, I owe all my success to you today. So we just started talking again. And in fact, I just talked to him yesterday, and he was just like making another decision. He's like, I need to talk to you about this, and I'm like, okay, just find some time on my calendar. We'll talk.
Yeah.
And coached him through it and mentored him through it. And it was just, it was really, it feels good. And I don't do it because it feels good, but it does. I do, because I find personal joy in helping people. It doesn't matter how I help them. It's just, that's me. I've got to help people, and that's my passion. Honestly, I could probably be doing anything else as long as I was helping people, and I would still be happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be recruiting. It's just that I just happen to find my niche here because I recruit for accounting and finance, which makes a lot of sense, right? So I think, so yes, I do mentor. And actually another one of my former employees also reaches out to me quite a bit as well.
Cool. It's interesting the journeys our life takes throughout the years. If you go back 20 years, could you see yourself where you are now?
No, not at all. I mean, 20 years ago, my entire world was in, I don't know how personal you want to get on this, but I just want to throw this out there that I think, and this may be what my book's going to be about. And you've probably had the same experiences, but who you choose to share your life with is crucial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the first part of my life that I was not supported. In fact, I was held back quite a bit. And so I was this meek little person who did not believe she could do anything because I was constantly being put in a box, right? And after my divorce, I started getting braver, right? Because I didn't have anybody there telling me I couldn't do it. And then after I met Steve, I mean, this was crazy, but he was, like when I told him I was going to switch from accounting to recruiting, my entire family told me I was insane. They're like, that's not what you went to school for. Why would you turn away from a 20-year profession? And I'm like, but I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And Steve said, go do it. He goes, if you're not there, you've got a safety net. I'm here.
Yeah.
And every step of the way, that's been the case. And he's like, you can do it. If I'm like, when I started the podcast, I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking? He's like, are you kidding me? You're a rock star. Get up there and talk, And so with that kind of support in the background, how can you fail?
Yeah. I myself have that very same thing, Casey, with my wife, Gwen. And as a matter of fact, I was just sharing this morning, sharing at Craig's event about it. I said, listen, when I joined Craig's program, guys, I didn't have the money to pay the $3,500 a year to join it, but I was driving a $50,000 Harley at the time. All right. And my priorities were a little out of whack, but I went, okay, I need to get my business right. And I called my wife, girlfriend at the time, and I said, you know what, take my Harley to the dealer and sell it before I get home so that I won't miss it. I have to do this for my business. And she said, no, we'll find a way to keep the Harley. You just sign up for it and we'll find a way to pay for both. And that's it. That's when you find that partner in life that's going, you know what, we can do this. I got the backup for you right now. Just go forward, and that's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's amazing. It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
In your happiness. A lot of times when people ask me how I'm doing, I'm like, I'm so great, I can't even stand myself, because that's how excited I get throughout the day. And I'm like, okay, if I were somebody else around me, I'd probably be like, can you just like tone it down a little bit? But I can't,
Yeah.
And I want so much to help everybody else find their passion and find what makes them happy so that they don't have to work a day in their life, and that they can really awaken to what life has to offer us, because there's so much more than just the daily grind.
Who's it? Two of my faves. A Facebook user. We don't know who you are, but we thank you for being our fave. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you can make your comment show up. Anyway, Casey, it's you know what I mean? It's been an adventuresome 35 minutes talking with you. There is something that really I wanted to ask you today before we close this out. And that is, as we're moving forward, the COVID generation, I know you're in recruitment, I'm in coaching. We're both in coaching. What is your advice to people who are listening in going, you mean I'm down in the dumps, I can't get work, blah, blah, blah. What advice would you give them if they're listening in?
I think that this is a time that the universe has allowed us to push reset.
Hmm.
And I know that there are people down in the dumps, but there's levels of energy, right? And that's the school that I just went to is around core energy. And the lowest level of energy is the victim energy. And it's not sustainable. And if you are coming from that victim mentality, like, oh my God, I can't get a job. This sucks. This is horrible. This whole COVID thing. And that's all you focus on. That's all you're going to see.
Mm.
So I encourage you to find something to be grateful for. Raise that energy level so you can at least get to that level 3 where everything's going to be fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Right.
Yeah.
And the other reason I want you to do that is because if you do get that job interview and you go to that job interview with that down energy,
Yeah.
who wants to hire you? Nobody. You're perpetuating the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to find that joy within yourself. And the best way to do that is to start with a gratitude journal. I journal my gratitudes every morning.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, it's always interesting to hear people like having to go through that, because I know this year has been a downer a lot. And we were talking on this other broadcast I was on this morning about that, how so many things can be a downer and things you shouldn't do in a down situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you can share things you should do in a down situation. So, what's your plans for the next year? I mean, do you have any, after this year, did you sit and write down, this is my goals for 2021, or you're going, nah, we'll wait and see what happens?
Nope. I'm not waiting on anybody else. Even through all of COVID, I am a huge goal planner, firmly believe in writing them down. And I do this every quarter. I review or I write down my new goals or carry forward goals that I'm still working on. And I review those very regularly and I journal about them every single day. So no, for 2021, my plans, you're familiar with Napoleon Hill, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay. Huge Napoleon Hill fan. And working on my, I've got my statement of desire that I read every single day. But I am planning, like I said, next year, I'm launching that executive leadership coaching division for my company, which is great because I have the support of my company to do that. And I know that I'm in a really good place. But if you think about it, how did I get here? How did I get to this really good place? It didn't happen just by chance, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've got to be putting that self out in the universe, and you've got to be thinking positively if you're going to attract those positive opportunities. Yeah. Because all you think about is negative opportunities, guess what? You're going to find them.
That's all you're going to find. Yep. So, and I've actually, I'm a huge thing with when it comes to goals to saying, it's great with writing them down. I love to help people right when they miss a goal. I actually had someone on the show once, Casey, who swore to God she never missed a goal in her life. And I'm like, my audience can't relate to you.
Right? Setting big enough goals.
Yeah. They think it's that you're impossible to deal with. I'm sorry. They're not going to relate to you because they want to know that you're human. I've missed a lot of goals. And those are the points where I'm able to help people the most. When I learn the lesson from failing at the goal, oh my God, do I learn a lot. So
I've also learned that it helps to have buy-in for yourself for your goals. Cause like I'm going to get really personal. I set weight loss goals every time. Mm-hmm. No, that's a goal I don't hit regularly.
I'm a skinny guy. What's the weight loss goal?
Shut up.
No, but I have health issues. I actually have to watch my health for, so I get that. So yeah, very important.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I just lost my mouse to be able to click over to the next thing, but oh well. Anyway, there's a chance I won't be able to do that. We'll see if it comes back here in a second.
I was going to say, improvise.
Yeah.
Did your battery die?
Apparently my battery died, but anyway, it didn't tell me it died. It just left me go. But anyway, it happens. It's part of the gig. It's probably time to retire this mouse. It's 9 years old, but I like it. So why should I get rid of it? Anyway, Casey, do me a favor. Tell everybody the website that we can actually get a hold of you on. So
if you're watching this, you can actually see it behind me. But if you're listening on the audio platforms, it's wearevip.com. And I'm going to go ahead and spell that for you because it sounds really weird. It's wearevip.com. And then our podcast is the same name.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we are VIP podcast. Yeah, love to be a guest on that one. So
we need to talk.
Yeah. So, Casey, I mean, it's been great having you on the show. I appreciate you sharing everything you can with our audience. I've got as I close out here, though, I've got this little game I like to play called This or That. You're willing to play, right?
No. I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course I am. I've been looking forward to this.
I love this. You're going to play, right? So I've written down about 9 questions for you, this or that. Now, I promise you mine's cooler than Sammy Hagar's. I realize he did it first, but I'm cooler than him.
I agree.
Casey, I love to ask them. Number 1 question is Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Big Luke fan,
I do like Star Trek too. That's tough.
Yeah.
But I think I said Star Wars because I'm watching The Mandalorian, and I don't watch TV. How I got sucked into this, I don't know. But I got sucked into The Mandalorian, and it's great.
Yeah. It's funny how these things suck us in. But anyway. Mm-hmm. So I know you love to go out with that camper. All right. The second question is, you're out with that camper. Do you want to park it at the beach or the mountains?
Mountains. 100%.
Yep. Snow on them mountains?
No, when it snows, we leave.
That's where I like the beach. So let's go to this one here. All right. You're a lady, so we like to ask the ladies this question here. Do you like to wear heels or boots?
I am going to say I'm a heels girl. You know, as tomboy as I can be, I can still go super foo-foo.
I said, yeah, but as Texan as you can be, all right? Come on. Yeah, Texan.
I've never bought into the whole Texas look with the boots and stuff. Sorry.
Well, all right. How about this for then the clothing line, all right? Are you going to be a dress-up girl or wear the yoga pants and hang out?
You know, during COVID, I wasn't dressing up like I used to go meet with clients because obviously we were stuck at home, and I kind of missed it. So I'm going to say dress up.
Yeah, I'm always dressed up from here up. Here, I'm always dressed up. Always.
Oh my God! So let me just pause you right there because that is something we just talked about on the podcast about how to do proper Zoom interviews because so many of our clients are interviewing remotely right now and they're onboarding remotely, right?
Yeah,
so that gets tricky, but we highly recommend that you don't do the Zoom suits when you're interviewing because you never know what's going to happen. Kid's going to come in, you're going to have to stand up for something, and if they see their boxers, that's just not cool.
That's as high as Tim stands up. I've got that down, honey. Tim figured this out. I've got a standing desk, so.
I do too. I love mine. Is yours a Veridesk?
Mine is Autonomous is the company. It's a whole full desk, and I'm actually about to build a brand new top to make it bigger. It's not big enough anymore.
Nice.
So let's move on to food products, and that goes, you live in Dallas, so it's tacos or hamburgers?
Tacos for sure.
Okay. Tex-Mex tacos or taco?
Tex-Mex.
Yeah. The best tacos I've ever had in this town was working for a car wash, and this guy came and served them out of the trunk of his car.
Nice.
I'm telling you.
The best tamales too.
They were the best freaking Mexican food I've ever had. So you are a Texas girl. You are a North Texas girl, so I got to ask, Mavericks or Cowboys?
What? Who are they?
Mavericks or Cowboys?
Who's that?
You know, the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Cowboys.
They don't even play the same sport, do they?
No, they don't.
See, that's how much I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a sports fan, but I've gotten into the Mavericks because my wife was an NBA fan. I've lived here for 22 years. I've been to 2 Cowboys games as an Eagles fan. So,
yeah, see, I'm not. No football, no basketball.
Yeah, I actually have met Dallas Cowboy players at the Harley dealer and had to come home and ask my wife who they were. And my wife go, "You did not meet him." I'm like, "We were just talking motorcycles. I didn't know who he was."
I went to an event one time with the Dallas Cowboys and it was Travis Frederick, but somebody told me it was somebody else that didn't look anything like him. And so I walked up and I said, "Are you so-and-so?" And he went, "No." Like, I was like, "I'm sorry. I didn't know. I don't know. I'm stupid. I'm a girl."
Oh, no. When I first moved here, I was doing home theaters and I was installing a home theater in Darren Woodson's house, who was a player for the Cowboys at the time and did not know who he was. And I looked around his house and I said, you must be a big Cowboys fan.
He was probably glad you weren't fanboying all over him.
He was. And actually, Darren actually said, I got to tell you, this is the greatest thing. Darren Woodson, till this day, I still admire him. He said, I play for him. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He immediately went to telling me all of his friends on the Eagles. He was a respect because he realized I wasn't into Cowboys. He wasn't going to sell me on being a Cowboys fan. I was just some guy putting his home theater in. He was just a gentleman to me. The guy who was my partner was a big Cowboys fan, and he did not want to talk to him because that guy wanted to ask him all the questions about the season. Yeah. I could care less. I was just interested in him as a human being. I didn't care who he played for or that he was a football player. You know what I mean? He loved me and wanted to talk to me. So
that was awesome. You know what? That's a really good point. Yeah. You were just interested in him as a human being.
Yeah.
All these people are human beings. Everybody's like, Casey, how do you get the nerve to reach out to that person? I'm like, what? They're just somebody.
That's why I clean Zig's car. It's why it's connected to Zig. It's why I I clean Troy's car, Troy Aikman's car. Troy's just another guy to me. I don't care that he played football. I really don't. I think he's a great human being. I don't know anything about his football stats. Could care less. So let me move on here. We're in Texas, so I'm going to ask this one. Beer or whiskey?
Oh, can I have a third choice?
Oh, okay. What's your choice?
Let's go with vodka.
Vodka.
I don't like beer.
Okay. Are you a Tito's person or?
I'm not really a Tito's fan, believe it or not. I know. Just you're going to delete this whole episode now, aren't you?
No. I can't stand Tito's people who are thinking Tito's is the greatest thing. I'm like, dude, have you had Dripping Springs from Texas?
Exactly.
Dripping Springs is the best vodka made in Texas, hands down.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So my next two are the controversial questions I end up with. Toilet paper, does it go over on the roll or under?
I was waiting for this one. So my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law, but she was my mother-in-law until the day she died because she kept me, not the son. When I was little, I met her when I was 13. And she taught me way back then two things. Toilet paper always goes over, and you always make your bed.
Yeah, I always make the bed because my wife told me so.
Yep.
I'm just saying, and the toilet paper goes over in our house because my wife said so.
Exactly. Your wife is very smart.
I'm a smart man for just listening to my wife. My last one, I love to ask this, and I love it when I get to ask the girls, and that is boxers or briefs.
Probably.
This is what you prefer, not guessing what I have on right now. I'm sorry. I just have to say that.
I interpret that totally wrong. But I'm going to go with boxers still.
Oh, I hope your boyfriend sees that one. That was just so good. It has been great having you on the show. And there it goes. There goes my mouse again.
Oh, it's working.
Well, no, it clicked on and then I lost it again, of course, as I need it. So I'm going to have to go in and play games with it again to get it to work so I can end the show. Basically, that's the problem. I can't end the show without the mouse.
Otherwise, I can just turn you around and you can sit here and listen to my next client call.
Oh, man, I may have lost my mouse entirely.
Oh, no. Does this need to go on indefinitely?
No. Oh, trust me, I have all the backups.
Right? Oh, good.
I keep it all right here just in case. So
you've done this for a while, huh?
Yeah, I've been in the computer game for a long time. I know I have to get another mouse. This is the battery-operated one, and I need to go with that new one that Apple has. And I just have not done it yet. So anyway, and just like that, I'm connected again. So one more time, tell everybody your website, Casey, so in case they want to get a hold of you.
It is wearevip.com. And if you go there, you will also see a launching page for our podcast. And if you are a job seeker or a company looking to build a better culture, I would highly encourage you check this out. We've had some amazing thought leaders and influencers on this show. And they've just, they've taken time out of their day to share this information with you. So go check it out.
Cool. Well, thank you for being on the show today, Casey. And we will be back again with another episode. To you, the audience, Thank you for being in today, and go subscribe again, timgilletteshow.com. Subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and tune in again when we bring another great guest for you. I'm Tim Gillette. We'll see you next time.